Hey, what's up, Internet? This is David Kavanaugh, and I'm here to update on a few things that are going on. So you can kind of see behind me the garage. That's going to get redone this summer. I'm going to take care of the floor, get an epoxy coating in there, maybe polyaspartic, kind of like Hummel Mechanic has. Plan on getting the walls insulated and finish the drywall and get some paint up. So then I just have to get rid of a bunch of shit. Because honestly, there's plenty of stuff that doesn't need to be here, and maybe I need a shed. Anyhow, so I got a few things to talk about. Besides that, honestly, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the motorcycle and things related to that. So first of all, the gas tank. So let's take a look at this. So what I have is a cleaned out gas tank, and I did this. Let me see if I can find the parts. I had little block off. Yeah, here they are. I had some block offs kind of like this that screw right in here and cover up the holes there. And I cut little pieces of rubber to use as a gasket. So I got two of those, and I could block off the bottom of the tank. And then for the top of the tank, I just got a rubber stopper. Now I've got to do some rust treatment on the outer part there. I have some special rust converter there. If you can see that. Anyway, I was going to get some of that and take care of the rust there. But inside the tank, that's what I should be showing. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see. So I'll show you pictures of inside the tank, but essentially what I did was I got some of this stuff. Metal Rescue. Hashtag not sponsored. But that's a concentrate. You mix that with a gallon of clean water, and that's enough to cover part of the tank. So what ends up happening is I put the tank at this position for a while. I put the tank in that position for a while. I put the tank sideways for a while. And basically I used a pretty big towel and I kind of rolled it up and got the thing to set nicely in various positions. And eventually I've treated the whole inside of the tank. And I'll be inserting some photos I took with this little camera. So this is just a normal camera you can get off of Amazon or wherever. It transmits to an app on the phone, and it has a light on there, and I can see and it transmits over Wi-Fi, and I can just see inside there and see exactly how good a job I've done or where it needs some more treatment. So I did that until I was happy with the results, and I can see down into the corners and all that stuff. So yeah, I'll put a couple pictures in the video, and hopefully you'll kind of see what's going on there. So that's ready to go. When I took off, you see this fuel hose looks a little bit rough, and it's actually, oh, I think there's still some plastic in there. No, that seems really hard. Yeah, that's super hard. That needs to be replaced. And I imagine the one coming out of the fuel pump needs to be replaced, and the fuel filter as well. So I'm going to get all those things replaced, because really, if I'm taking the time to clean the carburetors, then I really need to go clean everything. So I got a new shut-off valve when I first got the bike, because the old one I couldn't shut off because the little knob thing on it was busted. And so now I've got a really clean tank. I'm gonna have really clean carburetors, and I need to replace other bits that are sort of contributing to the fueling problems, and then I should be good to go. Now you may notice how nice these look. These were done in an ultrasonic cleaner, and so are these parts here with the jets in it. Of course, I didn't do that to the bowls, and now that I'm looking at them, I can't let that stand. So I got to get those cleaned as well. I got a cleaner over there in a box someplace. So my next video is really going to be about reassembling the carburetors, and I've got all the parts organized in here, and that's labeled for vent pipe and what else? I got various. Those are the fuel things, and those are the starter circuits. So I have a lot of stuff that's already labeled and ready to go. I picked up some pick tools to help pick out the seals from the various pipes. Like there's the fuel pipes right there. And yeah, so that'll be in the next video. I'm kind of concerned about getting the throttle plates put back on, and I have replacement screws for a couple of them. But if you'll recall that these things are peened at this end. Let me see if I have one of these in here. Here's one from the first carburetor. See if that focuses well. So what I did was I used a Dremel tool and ground down the end of that so that I can unscrew it from the shaft, and that was from number 1. And there's still a screw in here because I had a couple screws that didn't come out too well, and I ended up having to get a couple replacements. But you can see those sit pretty flush in the chamfer in the shaft there. Oh, and there's a throttle shaft seal that's pretty crusty. I got replacements for those as well. So I want to be really careful getting those put back in and facing the right direction and all that stuff. And I have a little bit of silicone grease here to lubricate the seals on those. So yeah, so that's it, and that's the next video. One more thing I wanted to show, and this is something I put together. Now I can't really see it underneath here, I don't think. Not too easily. Well, I can feel one of them, but on the downpipes there's a 6mm hole that's plugged with a bolt, and that's how the factory tuned the carburetors. Basically, they can hook up a sensor to that and figure out how much unburned fuel there was. Anyhow, and leftover oxygen. So anyway, this is an oxygen sensor setup, and I got this from Innovate Motorsports, also not sponsored, and I 3D printed a little test chamber here with the threads and oxygen sensor screws right in there, and it has a couple of brass tubes that are fit into there that have these silicone hoses attached. And this is basically a 12-volt, like an aquarium style pump, so it pumps air at a reasonable rate. So I would say it's not like running a big fan or a leaf blower or something. And basically what the idea is to draw air down this tube, and this will screw right into this is also from Innovate, no, I'm trying to remember where I got this now, Motion Pro. And I should be able to measure that at each of the down tubes before it gets to the collector, and get an O2 reading on there. Now there's a little controller box down here, and there's a serial output if I decided to do some data gathering on the laptop. What I'd really like to do is get oxygen value and then maybe an RPM, like a tachometer reading, and then record that and understand sort of the mixture as we go through the RPM range. Of course, that's not really under load either, so I don't know. Maybe that's better done on a dyno. But anyway, so I got a switch here to turn on the pump, and then another switch to turn on the gauge. And so what I should be able to do then is just start pulling air through here, and I'm hoping that the exhaust, once it warms up, the down tubes can be like 600 degrees. This stuff melts at around 400 degrees. So I'm hoping that this length of hose here will allow, and the movement of the air will allow it to cool down enough before it gets here, so that it can be read by the oxygen sensor, but it's not going to melt my test chamber, because I really don't want to get that all melty. I originally was designing something that I thought could be machined, but then I thought, hey, I can 3D print stuff really quickly. So I ran through a number of different steps to prototype that and get that just right. So we'll see how that works out. That'll be another video. All right. So I guess that's about it. I've got a few things on my plate, And hopefully tomorrow I will start with the carburetors, because it should be, you know, closer to 60 degrees and much more comfortable out here. And yeah, thanks for watching. If you're excited to see more about this stuff, don't forget to subscribe, and catch you next time.